And as you do, you come here and you're not entirely sure what's going on. These things are not graves in front of you, but are just kind of like holes. And there's a goblin sort of like digging and peeking and like rustling around these like holes, just kind of like doing crazy goblin shit. And Braxis halts the three of you, and you do spot this goblin through here. And so he kind of like gives you the like shh, and draws your attention to the goblin. Everybody sees him, and then he like pulls you guys back closer and says, "Okay, I know where we are. This is the location of the camp. It's further to the north from here. I have no idea what this goblin is doing, but he's probably one of many in this location. We could go about this several different ways. We could waltz right in there like we own the place. We could try and communicate with this goblin. We could rush him and kill him. You guys seem as intelligent as I am. How do you feel we should proceed?"
What were the nature and stealth checks for?
You can't ask me that.
Can I do an insight check to determine what those checks are for?
No. And let's just say you passed them. Maybe this encounter would be going a lot differently if you didn't pass those checks. Yeah. Let's say that.
So I mean, Braxis clearly was familiar with this location. Sure. So like he's asking us for advice on what to do, but does he like? I'd ask him if he knows.
Why don't you
something...
ask? Why don't you ask that? Why don't
yes,
you?
Okay. Yeah. So Braxis, you clearly before we were being sent on this errand, you clearly knew of this place. You were familiar with the location. You got us here. Knowing what's further north, or having some idea of what might be further north, would you recommend a stealthy approach, or is that a death sentence?
He says, or what I know is simply the nature of this location and the fact that there are supposedly goblins camping here. I know nothing about their individual strengths. All I know is, like any rider of this area knows, is the geographical figures of this region. What I know is that to the north of here, there's a small path. That lake that we can, or that little body of water that you can make out just to the north, it turns into a river traveling further north, or a creek, which a bridge crosses. There's a path that crosses over the creek, and there's actually a small cabin that used to be a trapper's cabin that's been uninhabited for several years, just to the northwest of where we are now. So again, I don't know anything about the individual goblins that are here, other than there's reports that they were here.
Do we have any idea what's in these holes?
No, I've never seen. And to be honest, they're a foot deep. Like it's a goblin just kind of scraping around more than anything. Aside from that, yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's anything to be gained by raising an alarm the second we step in here, whether or not we're afraid of their strength. Do I see, like, looking past him, do I see any other immediate threats, or do I...
No, he's the only goblin you can see.
Okay.
And he's got his back to you.
Yeah.
And he's kind of fucking around, like I said, in the dirt, scraping in the dirt.
Okay, so...
the other option is we could be on him before he'd even have a chance to react.
It's a possibility.
Yeah. Pin him down and try to get information, drag him back into the woods and question him.
And Braxis says the other option that's always available too is we are still in tree cover. You could potentially, we could move around these trees to look around a little bit more, but he looks at the both of you and just says, however, you're both armored and you're a fucking giant, turning to Iron Lung. So I just am worried and hesitant about our capabilities to move quietly in this area.
Okay, so I'm with the giant. I say we try to subdue him. I think that I can get to him and knock him down before he can react. So, I'm going to look for some sort of agreement or not from the other two.
Iron Lung?
I'm going to ready my sword, and I look like I'm ready to sprint. We're going to sprint at the same time.
Yeah, is that the method that you want to go about? You want to both, like, theoretically, you want to both run out, or are you going to let Jeremy do it, or, like, what do you want to do?
I think we're both going to run out there and try to, like, pin him to the ground, you know?
Okay. So, in discussion, that Braxis says, okay, that seems, I guess, a reasonable enough approach. He's a goblin, and from what I know of them, his first reaction is going to be to scream. So I'm not sure how you two feel like you are going to handle that, but whatever happens, happens. And he takes a flask out of his shoulder pouch and takes a swig of it and tucks it back and looks to the two of you like he's ready.
So I'm going to pull my shield out, and I'm sort of going to charge at him with my shield, more or less. But first, I'm going to take his back's to us, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to take some slow, cautious steps towards him, kind of looking back at Iron Lung, hoping that maybe he's not watching to see if he's rushing headlong or not.
I'm the second Vengar takes off, I take off. I'm basically keeping his pace.
Well, okay, so this is the thing, Vanguard. Are you tiptoeing or are you moving?
No, so I'm tiptoeing to start. I'm just kind of gauging his movement pattern. Is he just sort of like huddled down?
Well, you
back,
tell us,
scratching
Iron
in the dirt?
He's tiptoeing. Or you mean the goblin or Iron Lung?
The goblin.
I mean, I don't think we're gonna be able to sneak up on him with Vengar armored and.
No, I'm not trying to sneak up on him. I'm basically just sort of gauging his movement, and then at a certain point, I take 4 or 5 steps forward.
So what you're saying is you're sneaking up on him.
I mean, he's only 20.
Okay, how many steps
20
is this?
feet from us. Like,
Okay. I bum rush him with my shield out and try and smash him in the. Well, I try and knock him over, to subdue him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, I can't kill him with a shield.
So
bash.
you do wanna like your approach is not to like sneak up behind him and grab him or anything. It's like to rush and smash.
Rush and basically knock the wind out of him would be the goal. Like push him over so that we can then grab him. No running away. No. Right. Stun him effectively.
I'm gonna resolve this then with not a skill check, but a combat check. So why don't you?
You're gonna take your surprise round then, right?
Yes, your surprise round is your movement. Yeah. So I'm assuming 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Yeah.
And what we're gonna say here is you, Vanguard, are going to do a melee basic on him. But being that you are attacking him with your shield, which you are not necessarily proficient with as a weapon, I'm going to give you a -2 to your attack roll. But success is going to allow a daze of sorts.
Okay. I suspect this is going to be bad in context of this, but let's try. Okay, so roll melee basic.
Yeah. You stupid ass. Okay, so you two go sprinting out of the forest with Braxis close behind. Essentially, as soon as you get close, you go to swing the shield over your head and smash the goblin, but he turns around, catches wind of you, and leaps to the side just in time to avoid it. After that, he does scream something that...
Well, would I've been able to try to grab him at the same time?
No. I'm just gonna... This was like...
Ran
This
together.
this was... I sort of like made up rules here at the situation, and for you to grab him would have negated Vangar's attempt to smash him with the shield. So.
He's punishing my poor judgment.
No, it's not poor judgment. You just rolled poorly. Like, if
Yeah,
you
I was
had have
hoping
hit
to
him, you would have
tackle
dazed
him.
him, and you guys could have done what you want with him, but it just...
Yeah.
I was hoping you would tackle him, and I was going to do an intimidate roll.
That would have been completely possible as well. It's just the way the dice fell here. So in that regard, I'm going to... Let's just say we're just going to start combat here. So I'm going to drag everybody into... We could go ahead and roll initiative. Vanguard.
Oh yeah, that initiative thing. Sorry.
Okay. Ironlung, just for just for ease's sake, I'm just gonna have the goblins go first, and then all the players go next. So, actually, you know what? I will, because I'm gonna let you re-roll initiative to see simply if you beat, or just use the dice roller to roll a d20.
What? Hold on, what am I doing?
Roll
Just
the dice.
iron?
Yeah,
All of
just
us?
Ironlung, because he tied with the goblin for initiative. So just
Okay.
roll a d20, Ironlung. Okay, so you win.
Yeah.
Fucking crit. I should get some.
Oh! Never mind, re-roll. The goblin just crit as well. Roll it again. Wow, that's ridiculous. Okay, so you are going
So-
first.
And in context of this particular combat start,
Mhm.
I will choose to give up my pre-initiative
Okay,
ability since it doesn't make any sense.
sure. Okay, so Ironlung, I was going to say, just the goblin goes first, so all the goblins go and then the players go, but this goblin's initial reaction would be to run off, so I'm going to let you jump in here first and do an action. Take your turn.
Okay. I would like to. Is the hole like deep enough that he can be knocked into it? Like he'll stumble into it?
The holes are anywhere between like a foot to a foot and a half or 2 feet deep. Calling them holes is maybe even an exaggeration. Do you know what I mean? Like they're...
It's deep enough for him to fall into it. And,
Yeah, he could. I mean, if you were to check him into it, he would definitely potentially fall prone
Okay.
for a turn.
I'm going
It's not
to use a pressing strike here, and I'll shift 2. Actually, So does this count as part of the hole, or only
Sure.
this?
No,
Okay.
sure. They're both. We can call... For roleplay
Alright, so I'll
purposes, you can. It's not going to be that precise as to where you knock it. Yeah.
All right, I'll shift 2, and I.
You'll shift to.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean you'll shift? Do you have an? Oh, because you have your thing. Your
Pressing strike.
pressing strike. Okay, right.
So I shift 2, and I basically try to jab at him with the butt of my bastard sword, or my full blade, to try and like push him almost to the hole there, and I missed. So all that for nothing. Yeah.
Not entirely nothing. If he wants to bolt, you'll get an opportunity on that. Which is exactly what he's going to try and do. He's going to try and sort of jump between the 2 holes, or the 4 holes rather. So why don't you both take melee basics on him? He's just fucking terrified, clearly. Okay, so you can book your damage. Okay. So he turns and tries to take off, but not before Iron Lung, you follow through a little further, swinging what was your butt into spinning around and slashing him, and Jer managed to just kind of scurry in there and sneak a hit before he takes off. And the rest of his movement is 6. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it is, I think, Jer's turn. No, it's Braxis' turn. Who sort of like observes the whole situation that goes on with you guys and just kind of like laughs. Goes, all right, I guess we're doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He takes a swing. Braxis in the process. Oh, that was almost a crit. In the process of chasing after the goblin, unbuckles a executioner's axe off his back and just sort of runs down the goblin. Like they both start running at the same time, and Braxis just moves faster than him and thunk, sinks an axe heavily into his back, which is slightly deflected by the goblin's leather armor, but sinks in towards the bottom of his shoulder and does some serious damage on him. And that makes it Jer's turn.
Okay, so I assume these holes are difficult terrain.
I'll tell you what. You can traverse them.
Him, so.
You can traverse them normally if you pass a athletics check.
I was gonna say the goblin ran right through him, right?
Yeah, he's a goblin. He knew they were there. He was digging them. Like, yeah, you definitely.
Whoa.
Okay, I'm gonna say that. Okay, I was gonna say I was gonna grant you an extra movement point or 2 here, but I'm sure that they'll probably get wasted. You can pretty much just use however many you need to get right up in that goblin's grill.
Right, so I run headlong, jumping easily across the holes.
More than jumping, you like pretty much did a flip over those holes.
Yeah. So I want the video of that one. And I didn't bone up on how to describe my abilities. I swing my sword at him.
It's sort of up to you, really. I mean, how you want to describe your shit. I don't really care as long as it...
No, yeah. Well, the problem with all of mine is it's basically I swing my sword and then he thinks something strange, right?
Right.
I swing my sword at him. He seems to sort of falter very briefly, regardless of whether I hit. So I'm going to use Twisted Eye on him. All right, and I hit him pretty hard, I suppose. Kind of.
You do.
Let's see, and so he kind of winces from what would be, he takes attack penalties.
Yeah, what I was going to say
attack penalty at -2 from now on.
Mm-hmm. What I was going to say is Jer manages again to, Vengar manages to stay very evenly paced with the goblin throughout his whole running, and manages to catch up with him and uses his sword to sneak down and slice the goblin's hamstring, sort of really slowing him down and throwing him off balance. And that is the end of... Yes, I'm going to say that's the end of this turn. And you know what? I might as well just reveal this whole situation here.